let's just talk a little bit. Just see what comes out. Hey there. Welcome to this episode of Kismet and the Dark Yogi, and we're just going to have a conversation.
Oh my God, I'm being put on the spot for our podcast. Hey everyone.
No, we don't have to use this for a recording or anything like that, but let's just see what comes out. Maybe we'll cut something out of it. So cool. Your mom's in the process of transitioning right now. And I've watched this as an observer, and it's been just really interesting for me to see the array of motions that come up. And really just on a personal note, I would say like really commend you and your family for just meeting this with the utmost in grace that I've ever seen. But I was wondering if you could share like a little bit about your experience with that. Like how do you meet that? Like what goes on in you?
Yeah, it's a great question. You know, it's kind of this funny thing we have as humans because we actually we're connected to source in ways that we don't really always understand. So we know we're not going to die. Like, yes, our physical bodies are going to end, but we really don't die. So as we watch other people go through this period of transition, it's kind of like, oh, is this ever going to happen to me? It's like we can't really conceive of it unless we're super close to it, right?
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing because when you understand, it's because you are the self, like self with a capital S, and you're not going to die. You'll get this. Like it's such a high teaching. You're not going to die. Like your body's going to do whatever it does, but there's this ascension and amazing and transition and beautiful things happening afterwards. And we have always been and are, and we will always be.
That's amazing. I mean, if we could just remember that, I think that would go a really long ways. It's interesting how people, I think, live sometimes as if they're going to live forever.
Yes.
In this body. And it's the kind of the dichotomy of that truth of your soul lives on regardless. This body and this experience is precious and limited.
Yes, and don't mess with it.
Don't mess with it. What sorts of things came up for you?
Well, you know, one of the things that's been amazing, you know, my mom, just for those of you, why would you know, she turned 90 in September. So, man, she rocked 90 years. You know, that's amazing. And just a few weeks before her 90th birthday, she found out that she had cancer. And it was really easy for her to be like, yep, not doing anything, not going to do any treatment, whatever. And what happened from then is just an interesting array of reactions, of perceptions, of just wanting to get it right for all of the siblings to make sure she's well taken care of. But then people, then brother and sisters and whatever having different opinions of what's right. But all in all, like I'm just so happy to say, and my family's really founded in truth and love and you know, worked through it so beautifully because the person that should be taken care of was my mom.
Well, it's hard to get mad because you do recognize that everybody
is seen. So this is the thing, everyone, and this is what the mind-blowing concept here is. Right now we're talking about death, and that's a big thing for most of us. But for everything, our perception is different. As you walk down the street and look across the street, your perception of what you see on the other side is different from the person accompanying you down the street. They will see one thing and you'll see something else, or you'll see the same thing, but you'll see it differently. So then when you translate that into this massive thing of leaving this planet, it's like all of a sudden I realized everybody is seeing this different. And my mom is seeing it differently through the eyes of each of us. Like her relationship with each sibling is different. And her interaction with each sibling is different, although it's still, you know, she's really found this place of love, like totally in her heart. It's a really beautiful place to be and very, very important as you transition, because when you can hold that space of love, I mean, it's the best.
It's amazing, and from what you've described to me, it seems like if there was one thing that she was really going to take away from this experience, it was to just truly be in her heart.
She just stepped right into her heart. And this is a woman, like, you've got to understand, she grew up during the Depression. So there's a lot of shame, a lot of guilt for whatever, not having enough money, being really poor. And then, married my awesome dad, and they built an amazing, amazing life. Like, my dad was the American dream, no college, no nothing, started driving a truck and then bought the business. That's the American dream. Put 4 kids through college. And then he's been gone, 7 or 8 years. And the first couple of years was really hard on my mom. And then she pulled it up, like she did okay. And she had friends. She became more social than I ever saw her. So her perception, though, is, and I really, I attribute this to the work that she's been able to do. And she's just like, she said to me one day, why are so many people afraid of dying? And I was like, oh, Mom, that's awesome. Because you know what? It's going to be beautiful. Like, you don't have to worry. You're going to be okay.
How does this experience compare to your dad's passing?
Well,
is it just totally different?
Yeah, I would say it's different. Just the mother-father thing. She is functioning better health-wise for a longer period of time than my dad. And I think that was, one of the tricky things. My dad just being the strong man that he was, and then getting so sick. And it was really hard to see him like that. It
was like he just kind of powered through until he couldn't, then he got really sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the perception thing, right, of just having a totally different relationship with one and then with the other.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Thanks for...
Yeah. But one thing, I'll share with everybody, it's like, here's the important thing, when it comes to your mom or it comes to whomever in your life, one thing I realized at the beginning, it's like, oh, Mom is sick. And it was almost like we all wanted to step in and treat her like a child, where in fact, like, she's the matriarch of this family. She freaking rocked 90 years. She grew up during the Depression. She raised 4 kids. She widowed, she maintained her house, she took care of people. This is a matriarch, and she needed to be treated as one. And once she was, it was like, she was fine. She was okay.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It really, it seems so easy to slip into that place of wanting to take care, wanting to...
And you do.
Yeah. Like, you like wanting...
And you should, really, to a level.
Right. To a level, but to take control of the decision-making when, in reality, she has the capacity...
Totally.
Beyond to make her decisions,
Yeah. And she's been cool and clear and great about that.
And really to honor her in that. Well, there's the train of truth.
Here's the train of truth. Aww. Train of truth for Mom. She's very truth-bound her entire life.
Really?
Yeah. Very truth-bound.
Is that her energy?
Divine love.
Really?
I would say she's divine love.
Interesting. Why? Just because of what you've seen?
Well,
just recently, or?
Yeah, I mean, she really landed in divine love. So being that she found that place, and also, I always said, like, my mom was an amazing manifester. She manifested that we all grew up healthy, strong, did well, was successful, even though it was like, and our perception, our last podcast, we talked about perception, was cloaked in worry and anxiety, which, yes, it was, but it was like she was so bent on everyone's going to be okay, and I'm going to freaking make this happen.
She will that to happen.
She willed us, really. When I glance back, I'm like, man, she was a manifester.
What is your very favorite memory of your mother?
The most recent, really.
Really?
Mm-hmm, yeah, just like having her arrive in her heart. I mean, not that she wasn't before, but I think it was just her knowing that she really doesn't have to do anything. Like, we can help to take care of her, and then it's like she arrived in her full divine love expression. And that's a great memory to have.
That's so beautiful.
So last time I saw her, I just kind of would crawl in bed with her and work on my computer as she was resting. And, just the mother-daughter thing. And it reminds me of, me and Zoe and those times Zoe would crawl in my bed. And there's something about crawling in bed with your mom. So you know what? If you got a mom, go crawl in bed with them. If you got a daughter or a son, go crawl in bed with them tonight.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I know that this is a vulnerable topic for you, so thanks for sharing with everybody, and thanks for sharing with me.
Yeah. Thanks.
Peace.